My name is Daniel Harper, and for most of my life, I've had trouble sleeping. Not the kind of trouble where you just toss and turn for an hour before finally drifting off. I mean the kind where your body shuts down, but your mind refuses to follow. I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling, listening to the house settle, counting breaths, counting cracks in the drywall, replaying conversations I'd had years ago. Eventually, exhaustion would win, but never for long. That problem got worse after a minor surgery I had a couple years back. Nothing dramatic, routine, outpatient. But the pain afterward was worse than I expected, and the doctor put me on prescription painkillers for a few weeks. They worked, technically. The pain faded, but my sleep shattered. I'd fall asleep hard for 2 or 3 hours, then snap awake like someone had shaken me. Heart racing, mouth dry, completely alert. I started setting alarms through the night so I could take the meds on schedule, hoping that consistency would help. It didn't. It trained my body to wake up every few hours like clockwork. Even after I stopped taking the medication, my sleep never fully recovered. That's important to understand, because if you don't know how sleep deprivation messes with your head, it's easy to dismiss what happened to me as imagination. I've spent a long time asking myself that same question. This happened last winter, not long after the holidays. I live alone in a single-story house just outside a small wooded area. Quiet neighborhood, no streetlights behind the house. At night, the forest turns into a solid black wall beyond my backyard fence. That night, I woke up at 3:12 a.m. I remember the time clearly because I checked my phone immediately, already irritated that I was awake again. The house was too warm, that stale, heavy heat you get when the furnace kicks on and the air stops moving. I lay there for a few minutes, staring into the darkness, listening to my own breathing. That's when I heard something outside. At first it was faint, easy to ignore, a soft scraping sound that came and went, irregular, like something brushing against wood. I figured it was a branch rubbing against the side of the house. We get a lot of wind in winter, but the sound didn't stop. It moved, slowly, deliberately, along the length of the house. Scrape, pause, scrape again. I sat up in bed, fully awake now, listening harder. The sound wasn't random. It had rhythm to it, like whatever was making it was testing something, feeling its way forward. I told myself it was an animal. Raccoons, possums, even stray cats wander through sometimes. That explanation made sense. I wanted it to make sense. Still, something about it felt wrong. I got out of bed and crept to the window. I didn't open the curtains right away. I just stood there, listening, feeling stupid for being nervous in my own house. When I finally pulled the curtain back a few inches, I saw nothing. Just my backyard, half covered in snow, washed in pale moonlight. The sound had stopped. That should have been comforting. Instead, it made my stomach drop. I stood there for another minute, then another. Just when I started to relax, the sound returned, louder this time, directly beneath my window. Not scraping anymore. Tapping, slow, deliberate, like someone knocking with a fingernail. I stepped back from the window immediately. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I grabbed my phone off the nightstand and turned on the flashlight, shining it through the glass. Nothing. The tapping stopped again. I didn't sleep after that. I sat on the edge of my bed until morning, lights on, TV playing quietly in the background. When the sun finally came up, I felt ridiculous, exhausted, jumpy, embarrassed with myself. There were no footprints in the snow, no marks on the siding, no sign of anything at all. I convinced myself it had been my imagination. That explanation worked for exactly 2 nights. On the 3rd night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps inside my house. They were heavy, fast, coming straight down the hallway toward my bedroom. Before I could even process what was happening, Something slammed into my bedroom door. Once, twice, 3 times. The sound was explosive, like someone trying to break it down. I shot up so fast I knocked my chair over. I stood there frozen, staring at the door, waiting for it to burst open. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. Every instinct screamed at me to hide, but there was nowhere to go. Then it stopped. No footsteps retreating, no voices, just silence. I don't know how long I stood there, but it felt like forever. Eventually, I heard footsteps again, this time moving away, slow and casual, like whoever it was wasn't in any hurry at all. I didn't chase them. I didn't open the door. I locked myself in my bedroom and called the police. When they arrived, we searched the house together. Every door locked, every window secured. No signs of forced entry. Nothing missing. Nothing disturbed.
One of the officers suggested I might have been dreaming.
I wanted to believe that. I really did. But the next morning, I noticed something new. Handprints. On the outside of my bedroom window. They were faint, smeared into the condensation on the glass, like someone had pressed their palms there and leaned in close. I moved out a week later. Even now, months later, I still wake up some nights at exactly 3:12 a.m., heart racing, listening for footsteps that aren't there. I don't live near the woods anymore. I don't sleep with the windows open. And I don't take silence for granted. Because sometimes the quiet isn't peace. Sometimes it's just waiting. I got out of bed and crept to the window. I didn't open the curtains right away. I just stood there listening, feeling stupid for being nervous in my own house. When I finally pulled the curtain back a few inches, I saw nothing. Just my backyard, half covered in snow, washed in pale moonlight. The sound had stopped. That should have been comforting. Instead, it made my stomach drop. I stood there for another minute, then another. Just when I started to relax, the sound returned. Louder this time, directly beneath my window. Tap, tap, not scraping anymore. Tapping, slow, deliberate, like someone knocking with a fingernail. I stepped back from the window immediately. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I grabbed my phone off the nightstand and turned on the flashlight, shining it through the glass. Nothing. The tapping stopped again.